Today's topic of discussion is STD tests. So for those that don't know, here in the UK, hundreds of thousands of people have STDs. Now, in 2024, over 400,000 people were diagnosed with an STD. So in this video, we're going to be discussing some key points in terms of why STD tests are so important and why you need it in today's time. So first point is HIV. Now I'm going to play this 1-minute clip for you guys from a TikTok live that I had done recently. So I'll play it now for you guys.
Is it illegal, to tell your partner that you have HIV? Sorry, not to tell your partner that you have HIV.
Correct.
It is illegal, okay?
It is illegal.
Zero
Google
correlation to the discussion.
it's illegal. You can get into some serious trouble if you don't tell your spouse that you have an STD. You can actually get done for grape. You know that?
You can actually
Because you
even-
haven't given them proper consent.
Subhanallah.
Listen, bro.
Are you normal?
Brothers and sister, yeah. This is one of those guys that wants like extreme fitna in our society. He doesn't understand one thing. If a woman does maintain herself, what is her reward? Her reward is a high value man.
What?
No. The woman that's messed around gets to have the same guy as this woman. Well, what's the point of then, maintaining yourself?
And even if
You know what it is, Phoenix, the warrior probably has a daughter who's probably sleeping around. That's what it is.
No, don't be disrespectful now. Don't need to be
Sister
disrespectful.
sleeping around right now.
Let's have a healthy discussion. We're grown men. Be masculine.
You probably have a
Be
you
stoic.
probably have a daughter
Don't
who
need
has
to be
a higher body
disrespectful.
count than anyone
Excuse
here.
me, young man.
That's why you
Have some
Okay, so you guys are back now. You've had a watch of it. Now, in that video, some key points were mentioned related to STD tests. Now, here in the UK, right, if you've got an STD and that is transmitted to somebody else, such as HIV, that is a criminal offence, meaning that you can actually get prosecuted for that. That's how serious it is. So there's people in today's society who are going around, sleeping around, fornicating with whoever. They're not taking any tests. And then before they know it, they have been given a sexually transmitted disease, such as HIV. Now, HIV is so serious that it's literally a life-death condition. It can form into AIDS. So you got HIV and then AIDS. And then when you've got AIDS, it's literally a ticking time bomb before you're 6 feet under. Now, these people, right, who have these type of diseases, they're literally just taking 10, 20 tablets a day just to stay alive. That's how serious it is. What sort of person wants to be in that type of situation where they've literally been with somebody for one night and then they've caught some dirty, disgusting disease from that person because that person was going around fornicating with other people. Now, this topic here isn't really being spoken about enough within society. People are just going around sleeping with whoever. So it's really important. Anybody who's looking to get into a relationship with anyone, whether it's short term or long term, whether you're fornicating or you're not fornicating, it's really important you get the test done. This is especially true for people who are trying to get married. You want to be with somebody who's clean, You don't want to be with somebody who's gotten a transmitted disease. They've literally been fornicating with other people, and then they're trying to pass that on to you. So, next point is standard. The reason why STDs are at an all-time high is because men and women don't have no standards. They just literally sleep with whoever. You know, so in today's society, when we've got guys and girls who don't care about the repercussions of fornication, of sleeping around, this is what happens. You get an increase in STDs. Now, some of these conditions, such as HIV and AIDS, was unheard of 100 years ago. They've only come about in the last 30, 40 years. These new transmitted diseases. Now, some of you guys are thinking, where have they come from? I'll tell you what it is. It's a curse from God. Now, there's prophecies which even mention this when it comes to how zina is fornication, is going to become widespread, and it's going to lead to an increase in diseases and illnesses. And what are you seeing right now? You're seeing a massive amount of people getting an STD. Now, some people who you're working with at the workplace, chances are they've either transmitted it previously, or they're very likely to get one in the future. Now, some of those stats, right, it says, if you type it in on Google, how many people have gotten an STD in the UK. In 2024, it came up at around 400 plus thousand people. New patients. Now, that's just a low ballpark measure. So you can imagine how many people are out there. They haven't taken no tests. They're still fornicating and going around and sleeping around. So you can even times that number by 10. So your chances are you're looking at millions of people in the UK who have gotten an STD and who are potentially even carrying it right now. You know, this stems back to what? Having no standards. As soon as a woman, they come across, oh, look, she looks pretty, or the guy looks handsome, he looks attractive. Just fornicate. You know, this is the type of disgusting behavior that people are up to in today's society. So, next point is corruption. Now, the reason why there are so many diseases and illnesses in today's time, even though we've got access to contraception, is because people don't care about the repercussions. We're living in dark times, corrupted times, where we've got men and women justifying fornication. You know, justifying sleeping around just because they've got contraception. You know, recklessness. You know, so if you guys are looking to, for example, get married, I definitely recommend before the marriage both parties do an STD test. So then that way there you both know that both parties are able to have a physical relationship, a physical intimate relationship, without any type of diseases and illnesses being passed around. Because the last thing you need is an STD when you've just got married. So, final point is clean. Now, if more men and women were to actually take these tests and actually prioritize cleanliness, chances are we would have more successful marriages in today's time. As soon as somebody contracts an STD, literally they're damaged. Some of these diseases are damaging for life. Now imagine you guys develop HIV or AIDS. You're literally just damaged for life. You're on medication for life. It's literally a ticking time bomb before you could potentially be 6 feet under. Because of what? A temporary satisfaction moment. You got a little dopamine hit. You slept with so and so. You know, this is something which is so disgusting. It's literally just being brushed under the carpet. Now, if more people were named and shamed and actually brought to the center of attention, we'd see a decrease. Now, you guys can imagine, right? If one of you guys had caught an STD and then people found out, they were like, oh, look, this guy here, he's caught an STD. You know, are you guys gonna start fornicating with more people? Chances are you're not. You're gonna receive so much backlash. You're gonna receive so much negativity. Now people are just not gonna want to go anywhere near you. They'll be like, nah, you're gonna catch an STD from this guy. You know, this is what the issue is when there's no shame in today's society. Literally, shame needs to be brought back. So if you, for example, fornicated with somebody and you've caught an STD, you're going to need to ask for forgiveness, and you need to look at yourself in a mirror and realize you messed up. So just to wrap up, HIV. Now, HIV, if for example you transmit that to somebody else, or you transmit an STD to someone else, that person can potentially press charges on you. It's actually a criminal offense to not disclose that information. Some of these rodents out here in today's society, both men and women, they like to keep that hidden. You know, they don't want to tell the other person that, I'm experiencing symptoms of an STD, XYZ. They don't have no shame. Now, they don't even want to tell the other person that, look, it's best we stay away from each other because I'm experiencing XYZ symptoms. Or at least bare minimum is, cut all communication and contact with the person until they get themselves sorted. But nah, people just can't control their desires in today's time. And this is what happens. It literally damages people for life. Next point after that was standard. People in today's time ain't got no set standards. They sleep with whoever, fornicate with whoever. And then they start crying afterwards when they've caught an STD. You know, these people here, they ain't got no shame. The next one after that was corruption. That's what happens when people ain't got no set standards. It creates corruption within society. You know, people are just focused on their own temptations and desires. And guess what happens? More children are born out of wedlock. Imagine that. Parents are caught STDs, they end up having a child, and just dysfunctional household. And then the final point was clean. So there's a verse in the Quran which talks about this. Pure men are for pure women, impure men are for impure women. You know, anybody who you guys are dealing with, it's really important you get these tests done. This literally can be a life-death situation. Because if you don't do them tests, you end up, let's say, getting married, or you've fornicated, and then you end up catching HIV. That's literally just with you for life. You know, you don't want to be anywhere near that. So, I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.